Hey everybody, this is Jason from Fuzzlord Effects, and you are listening to the Fuzz Life Podcast Show. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen, and I would really appreciate if you'd subscribe to this podcast and share it with a friend if you like what you're listening to. In this episode, we're going to be talking about some tips that you can use to help keep your guitar in tune when you're playing doom metal music and tuning your guitar down really low. A lot of us know that it can cause some issues to tune our guitar really low or to use heavy strings. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about that. We're starting right now. So the first tip of this video is that if you're someone that uses low tunings and you play pretty hard on your guitar, I think what you're going to want to do is use bigger string gauges. I use a set of 12 to 60s on my guitars that I tune to either C standard or B standard. Also, paired with the larger string gauges, you're going to need a good setup on your guitar. Sometimes what happens is that our heavy string gauges don't quite fit in the nut slots and they're too high off the fretboard. So if you're curious to know more about heavy string gauges and a good setup for your guitar, I have a video right here about guitar setup specifically for doom metal down tunings that I think you'll really like checking out. If you're not comfortable doing your own setup after watching this video, of course, you can always call your local luthier because they would be happy to help you get your guitar set up just the way that you want to play it. So tip number 2 is that if you're not someone that plays really heavy on your instrument, or that if you can learn to play a little lighter, you can actually use lighter string gauges and play in low tunings really well. One of the advantages of using lighter string gauges is that we won't have to get our guitars reset up. So we won't have issues with our string height and the intonation, and we can just play a little lighter and our guitars will stay in tune really nicely. I'm going to leave a link in the description to my friend Steve Reese's video from the YouTube channel Does It Doom, because he put a video together and talked about this tuning document he put out that has 70 different bands and their string gauges and tunings listed in it. When I was checking this out, I was really surprised to see that a lot of the bands that we all like that use low tunings actually use light string gauges. So after you're done with this video, be sure you hit the description and go on over to Steve's channel and check out that video because I think it's going to have some really useful information for you. So here's tip 3, which is basically that meme of the brain and then the next level brain and then the next level brain. If you aren't into the heavy string gauges, and you also aren't keeping your guitar in tune with the lighter string gauges and you just don't know what to do, I think you should check out a baritone guitar. Something good about baritone guitars is that they're really just meant to play in those low tunings like that. We're not going to need a special setup, we're not going to need special sets of strings, we're not going to need to play differently, and they're basically going to have a nice tension on the strings and they're going to play just like what the guitars we're used to tuned in E. So again, if you're having trouble keeping your guitar in tune with these low tunings, it might be a good time to go down to your local guitar store and check out a baritone guitar that's really made to play in these tunings. I've played a few myself and they often have a really nice feel to them and just work very well for these low tunings. All right, I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to the Fuzz Life podcast. Again, I'm Jason Johnson from Fuzzlord Effects, and you can keep up with me on the Instagram page at Fuzzlord Effects. You can also pick up a Fuzz Life t-shirt at fuzzlordeffects.com. And as always, I really appreciate you taking the time to listen to this podcast. And if you like it, please subscribe and share it with a friend if you think it will be helpful. Look forward to talking to you next time.